Nigeria is currently undergoing food imports as the country grapples with the huge gap in domestic food production. Now, a key part of the agri-sector that the administration is looking to revamp is livestock. My guest on this is Momoh. She is the founder and CEO at Ruma Nigeria. Nice having you on the Rice Exchange tonight, madam. And I was hopeful that we're going to be sitting side by side in Lagos. And I didn't know that you were up there in Abuja. That's where it's all happening. Good evening. Welcome.
Good evening, boss, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm sure you've heard about the new Livestock Ministry. What strategies do you think we can deploy to raise the GDP contribution of that sector to the private sector, where folks like yourself operate? You're not leaving everything to the government, by the way.
Okay. No, definitely not. Definitely not. I think in order to raise the GDP contribution to the private sector within the livestock market, a number of key things need to take place. I think one of the key strategies we need to look at increasing more so, because I wouldn't say that they don't exist, are partnerships between government and private sectors, PPPs, incentives to either scale production or just enter the market to start with, as well as market access, which is a major issue. And when we talk about market access, we're not talking about domestic market, we're talking about the global market, which can significantly increase your revenue and profit margins, which again is an incentive for people to either enter this market vertical or continue to scale up their productions. I think one of the key things we really need to look at is creating a conducive business environment where we're encouraging this. Things like regulatory reforms that allow us to start to look at aligning ourselves with global compliance, which will then inevitably give us access to the international space, which currently we don't benefit from. And so therefore we're suffering from a stagnated growth within this market. And most important, I think, is simplifying the process of acquiring finance, so access to finance, and ensuring that it's really getting to those that actually are on the upstream end of the value chain, which most times we don't see. There are a lot of noble initiatives and programs that I think are established, credit to the government and other DFIs and other financial institutions and NGOs who obviously understand the need to grow this sector and invest in it. But the reality of it is it's not getting to the people that actually need it and are willing to enter this space and do amazing things.
Yes, so you just touched on finance, and what about technology? For what role can that play? It looks like the way we're dealing with the issue of the herdsmen and what have you, it looks like when you look at the other side of the planet, it looks like we live on a different planet when it comes to how we could just resolve such issues.
Well, I think definitely we could leverage technology to ease, at the very least, accessibility to finance, going back to my earlier point, as well as look at establishing things like traceability and provenance more so, which is very different from traceability. Traceability is just your ability to map out where stock is across the country at any given time, whereas provenance looks at the entire duration of the animal and everything that the animal has been exposed to. And then we look at quality control and quality assurance, and we then start to look at our ability to establish global compliance. We can do that leveraging technology, but I think it's quite a premature aspect of agriculture, but there are a lot of amazing things happening within agri-tech, especially amongst our youth and women like myself. And I think it can mitigate so many things, because if we can leverage on technology to achieve all of the things that I've just mentioned, inevitably it will ultimately lead to us being globally compliant, then lead to market access, then lead to potential increase in revenue, increase in profit margins, which would continue to encourage our young and our women and whoever else desire to enter this market space. But again, technology has so much potential, and we need to start pivoting the way we look at agriculture and start looking at the way the world does business.
It's interesting to find folks like yourself with background in finance and all that, and capital market, having interest in livestock business. Well, show me the money.
Well, there is lots of money, obviously, and I think when you look at the valuation of the livestock industry, especially in Africa, it's quite alarming that Nigeria does not make the export list, given that it's the #1 producer in Africa and third, fourth on the global stage. But at the end of the day, if your market prices are restricted to what is commanded in a domestic market, there's not an incentive. There are countries within Africa who have been able to leverage access to finance and leverage on technology and leverage that both of those implements to be able to access the global market and grow out the economy. And I think that we could stand to learn a thing or two from them.
How critical is livestock in the agricultural value chain? When you talk about food sustainability in Nigeria, livestock hardly come into anyone's mind.
Well, livestock plays a vital role, in our value chain, from everything from, a primary source of nutrition to, economic contribution, and to say the least, and then byproduct utilization and our ability to create value-added products, that has the ability to improve life, create financial prosperity and stability. And then we're looking at, the current situation of food security and sustainability. And so I think livestock is quite pivotal. It's quite a vital element to our well-being and our economy. So I think it should not be undermined in any way, shape, or form.
Okay, my part in short is the new Livestock Ministry, Minister of Livestock. What do I ask? So, what's your idea for this ministry? How do you think it should work? How could it be a game
I'm quite
changer?
excited.
Especially getting youth to be productive and participate in the livestock business.
Well, definitely. I'm quite excited about it. Like I said, given Nigeria's position as a producer on the continent, it definitely, I think it does warrant its own ministry, because up until now, under the current ministry, and I'm sure they've tried their best, it's not getting the attention that it deserves. And so therefore, I do believe that, setting up a separate ministry is definitely a step in the right direction. But it doesn't stop there. You really have to look at what comes after, knowledge acquisition, which is things like incubation centers and, mentorship programs and the efficacy of these things. It's one thing to theoretically learn, learn things. It's another thing to be able to practically apply it in the real world. And until we have such centers, I don't think there's going to be, a translation of what the desired target is into reality. I think the establishment of the new agricultural, entrepreneurship, Agriculture and Entrepreneurship Institute, yes. I think that's definitely a fantastic step in the right direction. But for as long as it remains theoretical in its approach, it's still, its efficacy, I think will be stagnated somewhat. There needs to be some physical and practical element that comes after that, which, like I said, my earlier points are incubation centers that are willing to, handhold young individuals and women and men, who want to really go into this space but, lack the knowledge. I remember when I first entered this space, because again, this is not my background, my background is tech and, IT transformation builds and things like that. Yeah. And so I made a lot of expensive mistakes, and I wish there was someone to guide me and tell me this is how you should do it and this is what you need and this is, things like that. And I think a lot of these things are needed, and we need to really look at it from a crucial perspective. How can we establish this, right? And then make it easily accessible, because that's another thing. You hear a lot of youths who are very dismayed at the fact that there are all these ideas and funds and initiatives, but the reality of accessing them for them is a myth. And, we need to find a way to circumvent that narrative so that they believe that there's opportunities, real opportunities in this area or in this market, rather than just another fund, just another initiative. We're not going to benefit, and I'm hoping that we can begin to change that narrative with a different approach and different strategies, thinking critically about, what the end goal is. Great. And how we're going to get there.
Great, thank you so much. We're going to be touching base with you, bringing a whole lot of fresh perspectives into the whole youth and agriculture, and women as well, by the way. And of course, you mentioned men, so we're also in the mix. We're all in the mix. Thank you. Quite an interesting chat with you there. Thank you for that for tonight. We appreciate it, madam. Have a pleasant evening. That's Amina Momoh, the founder and CEO at Ruma Nigeria.